The Indoor Football League was above and beyond the healthiest league in the indoor and arena football world in 2024. Formed in 2009 following the merger of two other leagues, the IFL has seen an unprecedented stretch of expansion and consistency in the years following the 2020 pandemic that wreaked havoc in the industry. With the vacuum left by the AFL 2.0's closure at the end of 2019, the IFL has been able to slot in as a solid choice for fans of the indoor game. While not having the big TV deals of the AFL as a whole, and thus not the reach, it's still the current leader. The National Arena League has been rife full of turmoil and drama since its inception in 2017, and the AFL 3.0 was a mess that'll be documented for years to come by YouTube documentarians. But once the IFL hit its stride coming out of the pandemic, things have been generally positive. The last time it had a team fail in the middle of the season was in 2021 with the short-lived Louisville Extreme. And entering the 2022 season, the league would remove two long-time franchises, the Cedar Rapids River Kings and Spokane Shock, for different reasons. But despite this positive growth, 2025 will enter with 3 less teams, plus another team that's entering its 3rd season of dormancy. This video will cover those 4 teams, as all 4 carry stories of their own, and fans that will miss seeing them play in their hometowns. So let's get started on the 4 tales of IFL Dormancy for the 2025 season. Touchdown! The Dakota Bucks were a franchise located in Bismarck, North Dakota, and played their games at the Bismarck Event Center. In fact, the team has only recently started going by the Dakota Bucks name, as they are originally named for the city of Bismarck. But more on that later. They started play in 2017 in the Champions Indoor Football League, the IFL's biggest competitor at the time. After 2 seasons in that league, the Bucks would follow the Quad City Steamwheelers into the IFL. The team was okay, as they've never had a winning season in the IFL. They went 2-12 in 2019, had 1 loss in their lone game in the shortened 2020 season, and finished 7-8 in 2021 and lost in the first round of the playoffs to Massachusetts, and would finish 2022 in 3-13. Following the 2018 season, the team was sold by the local Sahlberg family to BEK Communications, a local internet provider. But starting in 2023, the Bucks have been left off the IFL schedule. Due to North Dakota's workplace insurance laws and rising premiums, the team was forced to push pause as it would try to work with the state and work towards a solution. They looked to relocate the team to Fargo in 2024, but once again would not be able to get things together for that season, and the Fargo efforts would lead to a neutral site Fargo IFL Gridiron Classic. It came between the Sioux Falls Storm and Massachusetts Pirates as an effort between the team and the league to prove to the city the business case for indoor football. This Fargo effort would also lead to the Dakota Bucks name change, as they would look to represent the Dakotas as a whole instead of a single city. And for 2025, the Bucks are still not on the IFL schedule. They are working towards a 2026 return now, and they need to, as in 2024, the IFL instituted a rule where a team has a maximum of 3 seasons of dormancy to get their ducks in a row. In their 2025 press release, they did state that they are looking for a possibility to sell the team, which would buy them some time with the IFL. My hopes for a return of the Bucks are rapidly dwindling, and that does sadden me. The Dakotas are a vastly underserved market for professional sports, and indoor football provides small cities with some local pride. And seeing the Bucks vacant on the IFL map once again feels like a loss for a league that covers the Southwest, the Midwest, and Great Plains states very well. That, I love their colors and branding. Hard to go wrong with black and orange. Touchdown! The descent into obscurity of the Duke City Gladiators may be used as a cautionary tale for long-term sustainability for an indoor football team. Hailing from the Albuquerque, New Mexico suburb of Rio Rancho, this team filled the IFL Southwestern footprint nicely. Another team that originated in the CIF, unlike the Bucks, the Gladiators actually saw success there, winning back-to-back championships in 2018 and 2019, before getting sold to current owner Gina Praiskin-Thomas and moving to the IFL. They also announced that they would move from the Tingley Coliseum and move to the much newer and nicer Rio Rancho Event Center. In the larger IFL, the Gladiators had a tougher time on the field, but they would go to the IFL playoffs in consecutive seasons in 2021 and 2022. But since then, the Gladiators have sort of ground to a halt, concluding with their worst season to date in 2024 with a 3-13 record. Money was getting tight and corners had been getting cut from the fan experience. In-game entertainment and fan engagement ground to a halt, and the team's specific turf got repossessed at the beginning of the season, so they had to use an old recycled one. The team couldn't get offensive players to stick around for very long, and biggest of all, fans stopped showing up. Overall, the 2024 Gladiators felt like a team on life support. When I wrote this script in fall of 2024, things looked bleak and dire for indoor football and the Gladiators. But at the start of 2025, things have taken a positive change, and the IFL announced that the Gladiators had been sold and were actively pursuing a possible rebrand and a possible venue change from the Rio Rancho Event Center. I don't know what to say. This is, of the 4 teams here, this is one of the ones I had the least hope for, but it seems that indoor football will survive in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I wouldn't call it a return of the Gladiators. I would probably call it a new team come 2026, as they did mention a possible rebrand, and I don't know, maybe we see a return of the New Mexico Stars. Anyways, a positive turn of events for indoor football and fans of the Duke City Gladiators, so bring on 2026. Touchdown! When I got back into indoor and arena football, and I really got into the IFL this season, I naturally found myself drawn to a few teams. The Frisco Fighters were one of them. Cool, unique branding and colors, and alliteration, I love that. And an ownership group that I recognize from my NASCAR days with the Germain family, who are known for their large car dealership group and were famous for running the Geico car in NASCAR for several years and 2 Truck Series championships in the aughts with Todd Bodine. And this team was fantastic to watch. Playing in the DFW suburb of Frisco, Texas at the Comerica Center, this team essentially replaced the Texas Revolution team of before, who has spent several years in the CIF, IFL, and AF2. They were also working closely with the Dallas Stars NHL team, who managed the team. TJ Edwards lighting up the turf at quarterback, Martez Meatball Carter bulldozing through defenses at running back. This was just a fantastic offensive team to watch. 10-13, 14-2, 13-2, 13-3. This team was a juggernaut during the regular season for the Eastern Conference. Unfortunately, this team seemed to struggle in the playoffs, never making it past the first round, which of course led them to often being compared to the Dallas Cowboys for their postseason woes. This team should have had multiple cups, and unfortunately, it was not to be. Shortly after the 2024 season ended, rumblings came about that the Germain family was looking to sell the team. Whether it be issues within the family and looking to put their focus elsewhere, or simply the money-losing experiment running out, the clock was suddenly against the Fighters. There was a rumor that the team would be sold to a group involved with the Allen Americans ECAHL team, who played in another DFW suburb of Allen, Texas, and another previous home of the Texas Revolution. But with the IFL working hard on a 2025 schedule, time simply ran out on the Fighters. So for 2025, the DFW Metro is lacking an indoor football team in one of the major indoor leagues. I do see a team of some sort returning to either the IFL or possibly AF1 in 2026, but it will be under new ownership and it probably won't be under the Fighters' name. I will miss the Frisco Fighters, as they were certainly one of the most exciting teams in indoor football in recent years. Touchdown! Arizona Rattlers, Omaha Beef, Sioux City Bandits, and the Sioux Falls Storm. These 4 are the longest continuously running teams in indoor and arena football, and the Sioux Falls Storm are easily the most successful at their craft. 12 league championships, 12 conference championships, 12 division championships, and all across 4 different leagues, most notably the IFL. One of the charter members of the IFL, this team would win 6 straight IFL championships from 2011 to 2016. This team was more than dominant, and while they hadn't won a championship since 2019, they were coming off a runner-up result in 2023. But following head coach Curtis Riggs' retirement after a staggering 20-year tenure, the team seemed a bit lost in a rebuilding phase for 2024. Man, that couldn't have come at a worse time because the team's suddenly flipping results also coincided with its arena looking to get out of its long-term relationship to focus on concerts rather than sports. A 3-13 record is something the fans of Sioux Falls, South Dakota were not used to, and unfortunately this one bad season will seemingly be their last for now. Rumblings came about at the end of the season that the team were in the middle of talks with their current arena, the Denny Sanford Premier Center, about trying to come up with a new deal. And then following that the team was then looking to relocate to one of the couple other different arenas in the city. The news is still relatively fresh, and there's been finger pointing from the team, arena, fans, and sports writers in the city. But the fact that the Sioux Falls Storm will not be playing indoor football for the 2025 season is something unfathomable for indoor football fans and pundits alike. Even if they were hated for essentially being the New England Patriots, but even more successful at their craft. The Storm are a cautionary tale that nothing is forever in the sport of indoor and arena ball. No matter how successful your team is, no matter how much of a cornerstone it is in your small city and community, they can all be gone in a flash. For the Storm, it appears it was a new management group in charge of the arena that they played in that had no interest in sports and a rapidly ticking clock that spelled their doom. But of these 4 teams, this is the one I would easily put money on returning in 2026. On top of not returning under new ownership or a rebrand or anything. No, this one is gonna be... This will be the Storm returning to hopefully its past glory. While 2 of the other 3 are hopeful returns, in my opinion, this is an established team with 25 years under their belt and more rings than I have fingers. They will find a home for 2026. It more than likely won't be the Denny, but there's still the new Midco Arena just up the street that I could easily see them hosting the Storm come the time. They just have to figure out the whole stands and dasher board situation there, because apparently it was too high for them to safely play with for 2025. The Storm were victims of corporate greed and a ticking clock, but they have the means and the time to get their ducks in a row for 2026. And there you have it, the 4 dormant indoor football league teams of 2025. Each with their own story and outlook for return. Despite losing 3 teams during the offseason, the league is still gaining a new team in the Indianapolis suburb of Fishers, Indiana, and the Fishers Freight. A team owned by Jim Hallett, who also owns the Indy Fuel ECHL team, and is building a brand new arena in Fishers for the Fuel and the Freight to play in. The team is doing all the right things by hiring veteran championship winning coach Dixie Wooten, and he's brought in key offensive and defensive players from across indoor and college football. Coach Wooten operates with high expectations, so I fully expect the Freight to be one of the most exciting teams in the IFL when they burst onto the scene. Indoor and arena football is a fickle thing, but I fully expect the IFL to maintain its solid course for 2025, despite the loss of these teams. With the addition of Fishers, the eventual return of Sioux Falls, and the potential return of teams in North Dakota, Albuquerque, and DFW, I think the IFL would be just fine. And there's always additional expansion. The NAL always seems to bleed out some of its more successful teams in its larger markets. Just look at Jacksonville and San Antonio in recent years. Both have made the switch over to the IFL and are doing a bang-up job. I know the league does have a self-imposed goal of expanding to 24 teams by 2030, and honestly, despite this little bump in the road in this season, I still see this league hitting that goal. Anyways, this has been 4 Tales of IFL Dormancy, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you for watching another episode of Wookiees Arena. I know I don't put out videos on this channel as frequently as I do as my other car-based channel, Wookie Drives, but I think this is more of a channel I like to sit and kind of percolate about what I really want to talk about. And honestly, the IFL has gotten a lot of flack for their off-season, and I just wanted to cover it a little bit. Just see what's going on with why suddenly 3 teams went dormant on top of another dormant team they got sitting there. So, hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out my other channel, Wookie Drives, if you want to listen to me talk about cars. I know most recently I drove a 1997 BMW 325i that was mildly tuned, and I hope you enjoyed that video too. Be sure to give the video a like, drop a comment with some feedback. Any sort of interaction with this channel really helps small channels like mine grow in the algorithm. Share with all your indoor football friends. And finally, don't forget to hit that bell for notifications and subscribe for more videos like these. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.